Hey there, I'm glad you're here today because we're about to dive into something that could completely transform your life. We're going to talk about problem solving, but not in the way you might expect. We're going to explore why meditation is crucial for healing our psychological wounds and breaking free from the mental prisons we've built for ourselves. But before we get into meditation, we need to understand the problem it's solving. And that problem is this. Most of the issues you think you're facing in life, they're not really problems at all. I know that sounds crazy, right? You're probably thinking, but my problems are real. I can feel them. They keep me up at night. And you're right. The stress, the anxiety, the frustration, those feelings are very real. But what if I told you that those feelings aren't caused by your circumstances, but by the stories you're telling yourself about those circumstances? Let me introduce you to Alex. Alex's story might sound familiar to you, or it might remind you of someone you know. Alex is a young man who wants to become a lawyer. It's not just a career goal for him. He's convinced himself that it's his identity, his dream, his everything. A few months ago, Alex managed to land an internship at a prestigious law firm. This was it, his golden ticket, his chance to prove himself and step into the life he'd always imagined. But things didn't go as planned. Alex struggled, he made mistakes, he felt awkward and was distracted. He got so confused by the entire experience that he either stayed invisible, afraid to speak up, or he overcompensated by interacting unnecessarily with colleagues. He was so unfocused that he missed simple instructions and made careless mistakes. The result? Alex blew the internship, and in his mind, this wasn't just a setback. It was a catastrophe. It was proof that the world was against him, that his dreams were impossible. Now, most people would see this as a disappointing experience, a tough lesson, but ultimately something to learn from and move on. But not Alex. For him, this event has become a life-defining tragedy. Since losing the internship, Alex has been on a downward spiral. He's been applying to every law firm in the city, spending hours each day, searching for openings. He's been complaining to anyone who wanted to listen about his lack of chance. You get the picture. But if we looked closer, we'd see a different story. Alex has been applying for positions he's clearly not qualified for, setting himself up for rejection. When he does find suitable openings, he blocks and panics on writing the applications until the deadlines pass. In the rare instances he gets a response, he shows up unprepared or overdoes it, coming across as desperate or arrogant. Not only that, but in reality, he spends more time complaining about the lack of opportunities than actually searching for them. Now, you might be wondering, why would anyone do this to themselves? And that's the million-dollar question. The answer lies in our nervous system's constant state of overdrive, where our brains are flooded with stress hormones, keeping us trapped in a cycle of overthinking and anxiety. And here's the kicker, we're addicted to this state. That's right, as crazy as it sounds, we're addicted to stress, anxiety, and victimhood. Our brains create problems, often out of thin air, to feed this addiction. It's like we're mental adrenaline junkies, constantly looking for the next hit of worry or self-pity. This addiction serves several purposes. It keeps us in familiar territory. Stress and anxiety, as uncomfortable as they are known entities. It gives us an excuse. If we're always battling some insurmountable problem, we don't have to take risks or face the unknown. It feeds our ego. Being in a constant state of problem-solving or victimhood can make us feel important and special. And it distracts us from deeper issues. By focusing on surface-level problems, we avoid confronting more profound fears or insecurities. Coming back to Alex's case, he's found a job, but he's miserable there because in his mind, it's not his real job. It's just a placeholder until he can fulfill his true destiny as a lawyer. So he's not engaging properly at work, just going through the motions. His colleagues and superiors notice, which is slowly leading to real problems in his career. He's not looking for opportunities to grow or learn in his current role. After all, why bother if this isn't what he's meant to do? His relationships are suffering. He's become a broken record, constantly complaining about his bad luck and missed opportunities. Friends and family are either starting to avoid him or join in the self-pity party. Every setback, no matter how small, becomes further evidence that the world is against him. He's tied his self-worth so tightly to this one goal that every day he's not a lawyer feels like a personal failure. The implications of this mindset are far-reaching and profoundly damaging. Alex is not just unhappy about his career. He's creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of misery and failure in every aspect of his life in order to create and recreate the state his nervous system is used to. The problem Alex is trying to solve, how to make his law career happen despite all odds, isn't actually the real issue. The real problem is his addiction to victimhood, manifested as this rigid attachment to a specific vision of his future, and his inability to adapt when reality doesn't match his expectations. This is where we need to radically shift our perspective on problem solving. True problem solving isn't about figuring out how to make reality conform to our wishes. It's about learning to see reality clearly, without the distorting lens of our expectations and attachments. For Alex, real problem solving would look like recognizing that his desire to be a lawyer is about deeper values, perhaps a wish to help others, to be respected, or to feel successful, and these can be fulfilled in many ways. It would involve learning to find value and engagement in his current job, even if it's not his dream career. But most importantly, it would mean developing a growth mindset that allows him to learn from setbacks instead of staying stuck in victimhood. And it would require broadening his vision of what a successful and fulfilling life could look like. The truth is, most of our problems are simply opportunities for growth, for reassessing our path, for developing resilience and adaptability. So, where does meditation come into all of this? This is where it gets exciting. Meditation is not just about relaxation. It's a powerful tool that helps us break this addiction to problem creation and self-sabotage. It creates a space where we can step back and observe our thoughts objectively. As we practice meditation, we start to see our perceived problems for what they really are, often just habitual thought patterns that keep us in that familiar, even though uncomfortable, state of stress and self-pity. We begin to recognize the gap between the stories we tell ourselves and the reality of our situations. For someone like Alex, meditation could be transformative. It could help him recognize his addiction to the poor me narrative. He could learn to observe his self-sabotaging behaviors without judgment. He could start to detach from his rigid identity as the failed lawyer and open up to new possibilities and opportunities. Meditation helps us calm our overactive nervous systems, allowing us to distinguish between real issues that need our attention and the imaginary ones our minds conjure up to keep us in that addictive state of anxiety, grief, or anger. It gives us the clarity to see that most of our problems are self-created and the peace to let them go. But meditation isn't a quick fix. It's a practice, a journey of self-discovery and growth. It's about developing a new relationship with our thoughts and emotions, learning to observe them without being controlled by them. It's about cultivating awareness, acceptance, and compassion for ourselves and for others. As we develop this practice, we start to see changes in all areas of our lives. We become less reactive, more resilient. We're able to adapt to challenges with greater ease. We find joy and engagement in the present moment rather than constantly chasing some imagined future or lamenting the past. For Alex, this could mean finding fulfillment in his current job for the time being, taking concrete steps towards discovering a new passion he never knew he had. It could mean rebuilding relationships with friends and family, free from the burden of constant complaints. It could mean developing a sense of self-worth that isn't tied to any specific achievement or title. The path forward isn't about solving the problem of becoming a lawyer or achieving any other specific goal. It's about solving the actual problem, the addiction to problems themselves. And that's a journey that begins with awareness, continues with acceptance, and leads to profound personal transformation. So as we wrap up this video, I want to leave you with a challenge. The next time you find yourself stressed about a problem in your life, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this really a problem, or is it a story I'm telling myself? Am I trying to solve an issue, or am I feeding an addiction to stress and self-pity? And then, if you're ready for a change, try sitting in meditation, even just for a few minutes. Observe your thoughts, your feelings without judgment. You might be surprised at what you discover. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. Until next time, be kind to yourself and remember, your problems might not be as real as you think they are.